Welcome to Supernatural Scotland, the podcast. I am your host, Mark Smith, here to share the creepy and terrifying stories of Scotland with you. Scotland has for centuries been home to much bloodshed, murders, battles, and tragedies. This is why Scotland has such a large amount of supernatural activity. If this is your first podcast, please check out the rest of my episodes. Our first location for this episode is Edinburgh's Tolbooth Tavern. Customers and employees alike claim the tavern is haunted after many sightings or experiences. The building is very old and is one of the oldest remaining buildings in Edinburgh. It was built in 1591. Originally, the building served as a toll house where tolls were collected from travellers entering the borough. It was also a courthouse and a meeting place for the council. A prison was also located on the ground floor and was used to hold covenanters during the 1600s. As you can imagine, it must have seen its fair share of tragedy and brutality. A suspected warlock was also exorcised here, and after such a horrific encounter, he died shortly afterwards. In the 1800s, the front of the building became a tavern, and this was followed by the upper rooms becoming part of a museum. The tavern has a strange atmosphere, as you would expect from a building seeing so much torture and so many deaths. There are many who claim to have feelings of dread or someone watching or touching them. There is an entity who knocks over glasses and bottles. Is this out of sheer frustration? Who knows? People also claimed to see shadows from the corners of their eyes. These entities disappeared quickly before they can be fully seen. These encounters mostly happen upstairs near one specific door when it is left open. Someone also seen two men in old military costume, remnants of the building's past. It is claimed you can, on occasion, hear the spirits of children playing in the pub. And this would make you wonder what tragic or dark things happened here. Fancy a pint? Don't mind ghosts? Definitely one to check out while in Edinburgh. Our second location is Westbow House of Horrors, again in Edinburgh. Thomas Weir, or the Wizard of Westbow, was a respected member of the community and a high-ranking member of the army. Thomas was born in 1599 in Clydeside and moved to Edinburgh around 1649. He settled in Westbow with his sister Jean. It is said he always dressed in black, along with a long cloak and a staff carved with a strange human head. He was known to lead large groups of local people in prayer, and this goes to show how much he was respected by the people. As he aged, he fell ill, and he visited the local church, where he confessed to his many sins and horrific crimes. At first they thought he was ill and imagining things. Even after a visit from a doctor, he continued to confess to his heinous crimes. These sins included bestiality, fornication with many women, an incestuous relationship with his sister, and witchcraft. His sister later admitted it was all true and that Thomas had travelled with a phantom coach whose driver was a demon. This was due to his relationship with the devil himself, She also claimed his dark powers came from the strange cane which he carried everywhere. The cane was apparently given to him by the devil, as were his magical powers. They were both taken to the Edinburgh Tolbooth and found guilty. It is here they received death sentences. Thomas Weir was executed in 1670 at Gallowlee. Then his body was burned along with his demonic stick. It is said the body and the staff took a surprising amount of time to burn. When asked for his last words, he said, "Let me alone, I will not. I have lived as a beast, and I must die as a beast." His sister was hanged at the Grassmarket. She refused to beg mercy and tried to remove all her clothes. His sister and what was left of his body were buried at the bottom of the gallows at Shrub Hill. The house was empty for years, as everyone was scared to live in a house of evil. Of course, people believed it to be haunted and cursed due to its last inhabitants. There were rumours of a ghostly coach pulled by 6 horses spotted waiting outside the house, and other demonic hauntings. After many years, an elderly couple bought the property, but they only lasted one night. They suffered a series of demonic beings before escaping and never returning to the property. The property was then demolished, eventually, to allow locals to forget about the terrible house and its dark history. It has now been discovered that the Quaker meeting house was built on that site. Part of the old house still exists today as toilet facilities. It is claimed to be haunted, as staff have reported seeing strange sightings or sounds, and some have claimed to actually see a man believed to be Thomas Weir himself passing through the walls, possibly looking for his former home. And now it is time for our creature feature. I'm starting this episode's creature feature off with the Ghost Piper of Clanyard Bay. It is said that many years ago a network of tunnels existed from the Cove of Grennan to the cliffs of Clanyard Bay. It was believed that fairies occupied the tunnels and caves. Fairies in Scottish folklore could be very dangerous, and due to this no one dared to enter in case they came face to face with the fairies. One day, a piper decided it was time someone entered the tunnels and caves. He took his dog with him. He played his trusty bagpipes as he entered. The music continued for a long time until it could be heard no more. Eventually, the dog ran out of the cave terrified and howling, without its master and without any hair on its body. The piper is never heard from again. It is said you can still hear him playing his bagpipes somewhere underground during the summer months. Travellers have heard the bagpipes coming from somewhere deep underground. The tunnels and caves no longer exist. Did the fairies decide to hide the entrance from us to stop further attempts at finding them? Is the piper a ghost haunting from deep underground, or is he still being kept captive by the fairy people and forced to play the bagpipes forevermore? Our next creature is a redcap. A redcap is described as being an evil, murderous goblin or dwarf, who is short with a thick-set body and long teeth. They are also known for having skinny, long fingers with long nails or talons and large red eyes. They are found in the borders. They are said to occupy ruins of castles and buildings. They especially prefer ruins with a bloody history or known for evil happenings. The Redcap is named after his red hat, which is said to be soaked in the blood of his victims. Yes, that is right, the Redcap enjoys nothing better than murdering unsuspecting travellers when they take refuge in his lair. The Redcap throws large stones at his victims in attempts to kill them. On a positive, you can defend yourself against a Redcap by repeating words of scripture or by holding up a crucifix. The Redcap is said to cry out and disappear in flames. All that is left is a large tooth. So if you are visiting ruins at the borders, look out for a flash of red and for large rocks flying through the air, or you may just help a Redcap freshen up his hat. And that is the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed. And that is all for now. Goodbye.